They say the Cotswolds are some of the most beautiful countryside in England, but beauty can hide secrets. In the golden stone and quiet lanes, something lingers. Welcome to Ghosts of the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds is an area of outstanding natural beauty in the south of England, in the United Kingdom. Famous for its gentle rolling hills, picturesque villages and market towns, and many of England's greatest stately homes and manor houses. But it is also home to some of the most haunted places in England. Millions of people from all over the world visit the Cotswolds to soak in the gorgeous honey-toned limestone buildings from a bygone age. But there is much more to the Cotswolds than genteel landscapes and beautiful buildings. As we will discover in this series, this region is home to an unusually high volume of paranormal activity. Much of it may look like something from a fairy tale, but we're here to share stories from the darker side of the Cotswolds. The area is abound with ghostly tales we will explore, from apparitions of kings and noble lords, all the way through to the terror of murderous butlers and headless horsemen. The time has come for you to journey with us to explore ghosts of the Cotswolds. Cirencester. Once the second city of Roman Britain, later the wealthy capital of the Cotswolds wool trade. But beneath its prosperity runs a deeper current. Guests waking to find a crone bathed in green light at their bedside. A faceless monk wandering the corridors of an old inn. A child in white waving with a skeletal hand from a hospital window. And in the grand medieval church, a woman in grey carrying flowers, forever searching for her lost child. This is Cirencester, and these are its ghosts. Welcome to Ghosts of the Cotswolds, where we uncover the haunted legends hidden within England's most beautiful towns and villages. We turn to Cirencester, a place the Romans called Corinium, once a legionary stronghold, later a center of monastic life, and today a market town that thrives beneath the shadow of its past. From haunted inns to spectral monks, Cirencester is home to stories that linger long after dark. The Black Horse has served travelers for centuries, a coaching inn on Castle Street, where merchants, soldiers, and families once sought shelter. But in 1933, one guest discovered that some company is harder to leave behind. He woke suddenly in the night to see an old woman at the foot of his bed, her face twisted, her body glowing with an eerie green light. She stared in silence before dissolving into the darkness. By morning, the guest discovered something etched into a nearby blackened window pane, the words, W. John. No one knew who carved it or why. The inscription remained visible for nearly 60 years, until the glass was broken in 1992. And still, the inn is not at rest. Staff and patrons speak of a sudden scent of lavender drifting through its rooms, strongest near the old fireplace. Some say it is the ghost of a woman who once polished the hearth with lavender oil, still tending her duties long after death. In the heart of the marketplace stands the King's Head, a 16th century coaching inn whose walls have seen merchants, nobles, even royalty pass through, but it is not only the living who walk its halls. Guests and staff speak of a monk drifting silently through its upper corridors, his robe dark, his face completely absent, a blank void where features should be. Doors open to admit him, though they are locked to others. The ballroom too holds its secret. A figure in armor has been glimpsed pacing among the shadows of the empty room. The sound of boots striking timber echoes even when no one is there. One member of staff resigned suddenly, refusing to return. They spoke only of the monk and of a dread too heavy to endure. Hospitals are places of care, of healing. but they are also places where the line between life and death is thin. At Cirencester Memorial, locals whisper of a haunting unlike any other. A girl dressed entirely in white is said to appear in the upper windows at night. Sometimes she raises her hand in a wave, but those who see her swear that the hand is skeletal. Skin shrunk or absent, the bones stark against the dark. Those who encounter her often break down in tears without knowing why. Staff speak of glimpsing her figure in long corridors, only for her to vanish around the merest turn. No one knows who she was. Was she a child patient who never left? A daughter of the town bound to the place where she died? Her story remains hidden, her presence remembered only in fleeting, spectral glimpses. The parish church of St. John the Baptist has stood in Cirencester since the 12th century, built on the wealth of wool merchants who made this town rich. Its tower is among the tallest in the Cotswolds, a monument to faith and prosperity. But even here, sorrow lingers. They call her the Grey Woman. She walks the church, always carrying a bouquet of flowers. Her story is one of grief. A mother who lost her child to smallpox centuries ago. She searched for her child's grave but never found it. And so she is said to wander still, her flowers a token for a life she could not mourn. Visitors describe the intensity of her gaze, a sorrow so deep it compels them to look away. She never speaks, but her silence carries the grief of centuries. The Fleece Hotel has stood since the 16th century, offering warmth and welcome to travelers. But not all its guests have departed. Many speak of a cavalier in royalist garb, cloak and plumed hat lingering at the stairway. He fades into the walls as though walking back into the past. Others tell of an elderly woman shuffling through the corridors. Staff speak of footsteps in empty rooms, of chairs rocking without touch, of boxes thrown from desks by unseen hands. One guest woke in the night to the sound of footsteps growing closer, only to find the room empty. Another felt a hand on their shoulder, though no one stood behind them. The Fleece has housed merchants, soldiers, and travelers. If the stories are true, some remain, unwilling or unable to leave. Cirencester has been called the capital of the Cotswolds, but its history reaches far deeper. From Roman Corinium to medieval Wooltown, from Civil War crossroads to modern market square, every age leaves traces. Perhaps it is this depth of history that explains the hauntings. The faceless monk, the child in white, the cavalier, the grey woman, the lavender-scented hearth. Each a memory etched into stone, refusing to be forgotten. If you've enjoyed walking through Cirencester's haunted past, why not explore Byberry, where vanishing figures haunt Arlington Row, and travelers still whisper of the Catherine Wheel Inn. And remember, every Cotswold town carries its shadows. Please subscribe to this channel to be alerted to the next episode of Ghosts of the Cotswolds.